Hello friends, thank you so much for joining me for another Monday chat. Today I just wanted to share a couple of the things I've been working on this week and just some thoughts I've had about some whips and different things like that. So I'm sitting on the floor in my yarn closet. Typically you see a different view of this, but I wanted to talk about some of the baskets I have behind me. But first off, I want to share this cardigan that I made. Somebody wants to say hi. This is Yoshi. If you guys haven't seen her before, I don't think I've mentioned her name, but her name is Yoshi, like the Mario character. But she's my cat. She's very sweet. She's my little shadow. Follows me everywhere. So every time I'm in here, she follows me in and doesn't let me record without crying outside the door. So she is in here with me today. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this cardigan. It is the cardigan I mentioned last week, and it is it's by Make and Do Crew, and it is labeled as a make it in 3 days cardigan. And I think it took me about 24 hours to make. I know I was sharing with you guys that I was using my timer very poorly, where I'd time myself and then I would walk away and I'd do stuff and then I'd come back and then the timer was still going and then I had to stop it and try to figure out how much time I had been away and then how much time I had to add or take away from the timer. So I'm very bad at timing myself, but I do believe that this took me less than 24 hours to make because of all the times I had to frog it, which is nothing to do with the actual pattern. The pattern was wonderful. There was nothing wrong with the pattern. I messed up in my counting, or I messed up in putting the stitches in the wrong space, or, you know, whatever it was my fault. It had nothing to do with the pattern itself. So I love the pattern. It was awesome. I used the video tutorial for it and I just followed the steps that she had in there. So I just made whatever size it was. I'm typically a medium and a medium to a large. So I think that that's probably the size that this one was. If you, I do have a video of me trying it on and showing a little bit of it if you, and I'll play that for you. But it's very comfy, very cozy. It's really nice. I think the only thing I'm going to change, and this is again, not the pattern, this is me. See how there is a buckle here? I always dislike it when sleeves are attached too tight, and I attached that too tight. I was trying to get away with a short tail that I had attached from making the sleeve to attach it to the body. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out that seam. I just did a whip stitch, so it's not hard to do. I'm just going to take out that seam and release it, make it a little bit more on the loose side so it's not as restricted, because that is the only thing that I would say that I do not care for about it. And again, that is my fault. It had nothing to do with the pattern. I just attached it too tight. I did it on both arms. You see that? And if you are getting that little hump when you add sleeves to a cardigan or a sweater that you make in panels, that's what the issue is the join is just too tight. So if you unravel your join and then just join in a looser whip stitch or looser stitch, that will solve that little hump that you have there and it won't be as restricted. So that's what I have to share about that one. I love this. I can't wait to wear it. Like I was sharing last week, our weather here in Florida has been getting a little bit less hot, and it's not quite sweater weather yet, but I am very excited for it getting that direction. So this week, the things that I wanted to share with you, I have a couple projects that I've been working on, and I just want to chat with you about that, and also about WIPs and situations with WIPs, because I feel like I'm probably not the only one, but I'll start a project and I will let it go and I'll move on to something else, and then I will forget about it and, keep working on new things and not finishing my old ones. And I have tried to be better at that bad habit and start with a project and say you are not allowed to start something else until you are finished with one project. And I typically have 3 projects going at once, and I find that to be a good number for me, where I can have 3 going at once and I have a variety where I can switch back and forth. Sometimes I feel really determined to get one of them done and I work really hard and I get that done, and then I can start a new project and slowly work on the other 2 that I have. So that's what I prefer to do and what works really well for me, but I don't always do that. And I wanted to share a little bit of my thoughts on those different things, because I have some projects that used to be WIPs that are put in like in a back corner or in storage and are not currently being worked on are considered UFOs, so unfinished objects. And I have a few of those that I really need to tackle, and I want to make them WIPs to complete them so that I can get them out of my UFO or WIP category. I don't want to have more than 3 WIPs at a time, and because I have UFOs, I need to work on removing those things. So I wanted to share those with you. The first thing is, I've had this around for probably 6 months, debating what it is that I want to do with it, because I hate the idea of continuing with it because I really didn't like it. I didn't like the process. It was a design that I was making, and I spent probably a month or more designing it, tearing it out, working on it, adding to it. And I really hate it. And to look at it, I'm just like, it's just such a shame to not complete because it is so close to being completed. I don't like the color combination. I don't like how the squares, I made it squares. I started with octagons and squares together as a design, and I don't like it at all. It started off not connecting well. Everything was bubbling weird. All the counts were correct, but it was not fitting together. And just looking at it makes me frustrated. I don't know if you have a project like that, but for me, that's this one. It's hanging over my head. I think about it every once in a while, and I think, what do I want to do with it? Do I want to continue working on it? Do I want to make it a tutorial? Do I want to do this, do that? And I have decided, after about 6 months of thinking about it and having it in the back corner and coming across it and dreading it and everything, I have decided, let me show you first, and then I'll tell you. And I know that y'all are so kind and you're going to say, I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's great. I love it. Why don't you do something with it? All right. So, because you guys are so encouraging. I see it on the camera and I like it, but then I think of all the struggles that I had with it, and I just don't want to deal with it anymore. Like, I just don't want to ever look at it again. And I'm thinking, do I want to make a blanket out of it? Should I make a blanket and donate it? Should I continue with should I keep it and do a tutorial? Should I just put all the squares together and, give it away? Because I have a lot done. And that's the struggle. So this is what I wanted the end result to be. And it's pretty. And you know, it looks nice on camera, but then I don't know. It has caused me so much trouble. I just don't want to deal with it anymore, because I have a bunch of squares that are mostly completed, and I'm just like, I just want to get rid of it. I don't want to ever touch it again. I want to get rid of it. I don't want to keep going with it. But I look at it and it's pretty. That's the struggle. Yeah, there's just so, like, I don't like how the square is rotating. You see how it's like off? See that? How this blue part is tilted and this is tilted. And I think at some point I might maybe redesign it and do something different with it. But it has caused me such a headache. I just want to ditch it. I want to donate it. I want to throw it away. I don't know what I want to do with it. But these are the octagons that were going to go with it. But you see how they're bubbled and they're all puckery on the sides? They don't fit right. So I guess my thinking and wanting to share that with you is expressing that there are things that you might work on and spend lots of hours on, and it just doesn't work, and it's frustrating, and it's okay to quit. It's okay. You don't need to finish something, and you don't need to keep it around, and you don't need to dwell on it, because it makes you spend energy and time and effort thinking about it. Because I don't want to teach this pattern. I wanted to at first, and I wanted to make it beautiful, but there's so many things that I want to change about it that I don't like that rotated part in there. I don't want to teach a pattern that has so many flaws in it without it being perfect. And that's the struggle that I'm coming across right now. And I'm thinking how much yarn I used, how much effort and energy and time and everything, that I'm just ready to just let it go. So I think that for that, I am going to do that. And I'm not going to continue working on it or thinking about it. And I think I'm just going to donate those squares, because it frustrates me more than anything else, and I don't need that. And I keep thinking back on it, and I have all the things, like I had to cut it apart and pull. Oh, it was terrible. And I don't know if you guys watched the episode that I had of frogging, like frog or finish, my frog or finish video. And I have a cardigan on there that I ended up frogging because I had worked so many times on trying to get it adjusted and worked on and adapted to work, and it just didn't. And I'm at peace with it being frogged, and I needed to get that out of my space and out of my life. And this is just a bin that, with this one, it's just a bin that is, just haunting me. And the other sad thing is I've woven in all the ends here. So I can't frog it without pulling out each end that I've woven in. And I'm not going to spend that energy and time and effort doing that, because I love the idea of it and how it looks, but it's a bad pattern. It is a bad design. It did not work out the way that I wanted it to, and it doesn't fit no matter how many times I tried to connect them together and all that. So enough of that, but just wanted to let you know it is okay to let things go that have been, tormenting you for years or longer. I mean, for months or years. it's okay to let them go, even if you really want it to work. Sometimes things just aren't working. And I hate to say be a quitter, but I would rather quit and let it go than be frustrated every time I look at it. And that's all that I see with it right now. So a pity, and I'm sad by it, but I'm also ready to move on, and it needs to go find another home. So I think I will donate that and let somebody else try and figure it out. But that's what I'm doing with that. So along with some designs that I have worked on, that one was one of my first, and it is, I mean, I've designed other things without sharing them. I've done things in the past that were my own design and my own plan for things, but that was the first one I wanted to share as a tutorial, and it just didn't go. So I think that's the other thing that I want to hold on to it, because it was my first attempt at making a pattern. And I will most likely keep one tile of each of them, either for reference in the future, or eventually I want to do a tiled blanket of all the mismatched, crazy squares that either I had left over or just didn't work out or something like that. So those are going, one octagon and one square will probably go into my bin that I keep of mismatched tiles. So it'll be a memory. Hopefully it's a good memory instead of a bad memory. But anyway, the next thing I want to share with you is another thing that I'm designing, and the cat is on my box. I want to move her. She's having such a good time. All right, but you do have to move. Sorry. All right, so this is this is a blanket that is going to be called the Cozy Mile. So it is a mile a minute blanket, and if you haven't seen those before, these are blankets that are made up in strips, and then the strips are attached. So a lot like how a granny square is worked, you work it in a square and then you attach it later. This one is worked up in strips. So I am using the Hobby Lobby, I think it's citrus something, I can't remember the exact name for it, but isn't it pretty? It just changes colors. So that one, so I'm making strips. As of right now, I want to do about 13 strips, to make it 13 strips wide. But once I have those 13 strips and I put it together, I'll be able to see if that's the right measurement that I want, or if I want to go wider than that. But this is going to be, it's just a classic mile a minute Afghan. So that will be attached. You attach them down the sides, so the strips are all like that. It's 3 rows, or 3 different sections. You work up the center section first, and then you work all the way around with the white, and then you work all the way around with this orange. And I have different colors, so I'm doing a variety. Some of them are going to be the white on the outer edge, and some are going to be a colored, and then the center is swapped out with white. So I've got a few of those like that. This one doesn't have the orange on the outside yet, but you get the idea. Like that. So that is the current one that I'm working on. That one is going to be called the Cozy Mile. And that one was named by my husband. I told him what the different aspects were of it. And he said he thought we should do the cozy mile because it's fall, it's cozy, and it's mile a minute. He's my name guy. He's good at stuff like that. You know, another thing he's really good at is dad jokes. I feel like he was born to have dad jokes. The stories he tells when he's of himself as a little kid just makes me think he was born to be a dad with dad jokes. He has the greatest little kid stories. I don't remember my childhood as vividly as he does. It's amazing how somebody can remember so many different things. So, all right. So that is what I have for those things. I have one more thing that is my own design, but it's mainly just my design of color, because this design is pretty well known. So this is a chevron blanket. And I am making this one in these colors, like this, because it is a replica of a blanket that my grandparents had at their house. They had to sell their house, and the different items went to different grandkids and kids, and my cousin got the blanket that was like this, and I know all of us wanted it, but I wanted to replicate it, and I knew what it looked like, so I grabbed colors that were very similar. I'll show you a picture of what the actual one looked like, and I have a picture of me and my mom. I was a toddler, I think. That was the age, if I'm remembering the picture right, and then my mom with me in the picture, but I'll show you what the original looked like, and I think I matched the colors pretty well with it. It looks kind of green on camera, but this is a tan, and then a variegated, and then a peach color. And so this is a very close replica of what my grandparents had in their home. And I just remember that growing up. And every time I see it, I think back on all those really fun memories playing with my cousins at their house, and all kinds of fun stuff. But yeah, so I've got my yarn there. I'm making it pretty big, so I didn't know how much to get. But that was when Joann's was closing, and I was able to grab some of those colors before they closed. Thankfully, they had the ones that I needed. But that one will be a pattern eventually, and this has been in my UFO group of blankets. It's typically blankets that I end up having UFOs, and that's typically what I make. I like blankets and cardigans. I typically get like a small project done pretty quickly, but my blankets are the ones that typically get abandoned. So this is a UFO, and I really want to get this one done, and I want to share it with you guys so that I have that push to get it done, because I do want to do this as a pattern, or at least a tutorial, so that you guys can see it and see how it's done. You can find other videos on how to do the chevron stitch, but I do want to share this one specifically. But anywho, this was a UFO, and I need to start working on it, so I wanted to share it with you so that I am held accountable to actually finish it. Because that one I've been working on for probably a year. Yeah, I think it's about a year that I've been working on that one. So that one needs to get done. It's not even halfway done yet. It's maybe like a quarter of the way done, and it has just been stuck in here. And I tend to really like blankets that are in smaller portions, like the mile a minute blanket. I have gotten that one done pretty quickly. Squares typically get done pretty quickly, and it is easier for me to accomplish those because I feel like every time I get a small thing done, I feel like I'm getting somewhere. And then with this, these are all single crochets. So that's a lot of little work, and it's a challenge to work on it. And then it's big, and you go back and forth and back and forth, and yeah. but I do love the outcome. This is one blanket that I really want to have to use, and I don't typically have that desire for an end result. Normally it's just like, I want to get this done so that I can share it with you guys, or I can get pictures of it, or something, or I can just get it done to move on to the next thing. But this is one that I want to have and use. The next one I have, sorry about that, my phone ran out of storage, so I need to go take care of that, and now I'm back. So for the last project that I have, that is a UFO, that is another item that I want when it's finished, but I don't really like the process of it, and I'll share why. So this is a pattern, it's free pattern on YARNSPIRATIONS, called the Braided Cable Crochet Blanket. It is beautiful. I'll have a link for it in the description. But that is the blanket. So I'll put that in, I'll link that in the description so you guys can go grab that if you want to. But the pattern calls for the Caron 1 pound yarn. And it says use four balls of the Caron 1 pound. And I think, let's see, it says to use a 5.5 millimeter hook. I am using yarn that I found at Ollie's. Do you guys have Ollie's where you live? We've got one near us, and for a while they had some really good yarn there, and this is one of them that they had, and it was the Bernat Velvet, and I got this skein for $5, so I know that is a great deal. I can't remember what the original price was for that, and I think I have my hook in here somewhere. I don't know. Oh, here it is. All right, so I used a 6.5 millimeter, which is what it calls for on here. So I used the YARNSPIRATIONS Braided blanket pattern, but I went by the hook size that's on this skein, because it's a 5 weight. It is so soft. It's so nice. This velvet yarn is really nice quality. It doesn't shed. It's like a sturdy, more of a sturdy velvet compared to some that I've used. But this is you can't really see the pattern, but it's so shiny and it's so soft and it's heavy. But you can see the braid is here, and then it's got like a V pattern here. And I want this to use it because it's so heavy and so comfy, but this has been a UFO. I started this one, I want to say probably about 4 years ago. 3 to 4 years ago. And I love the feel of it. I love the look of it. The pattern is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with the pattern, but because I'm doing it with velvet, the pattern is difficult to see all the stitches, and because it is an intricate design and that you need to be able to see where your stitches are for that braided cable, it's hard to tackle this, and I can't tell you how many times I wanted to tear it out. I'm not going to, because I love it and I want to use it, and I want to have this as a blanket because it's so much effort put into it. And there's nothing wrong with the pattern. It's a great blanket. It's a great pattern. It is, it's an easy chart. I can't show you the whole chart because I want you to go get the actual pattern, but see, it has all the little symbols and stuff, and it shows you where to do what. I love a good chart like this, and YARNSPIRATIONS is great with that. So this is a free pattern, and I'll link that for you. And I mean, check YARNSPIRATIONS for written patterns. They've got lots of good stuff on there. They've got baby blankets, baby clothes, adult clothes, sweaters, cardigans, shawls, stuffed animals. They've got a ton of stuff on there. So check out YARNSPIRATIONS and the other patterns that they have if you are interested in finding some other free written patterns. They are great for that. So I would check that out if you're interested. So another UFO that I am telling you guys about so that you can keep me accountable, because I want to be able to share some updates with you on our Monday chats so that I actually get these things done. So as of right now, I have 8 full skeins. So I would like to make some progress on it. And I have 1 partial skein. So I have 8 full, 1 partial. And yeah, so I want to make some progress on that one. I also want to make progress on the chevron thing. Let me see. Let me pull that out and I'll tell you guys what I have done on it so that I can tell you if I've made any progress. And oh yeah, this is my other one that I talked to you guys about, my thing that I wanted to make curtains, which I'm still debating on. This is really thin. It's way thinner than what the pattern calls for. So I'm really debating on whether or not I should keep going with it or not, just for the sake of it being usable and sensible to keep going with it, because it is such a drastic difference and it is going to take so much longer than I originally planned for. So I'm thinking through that, what I want to do with it. It's in the semi-UFO category, because not 100% on if I want to keep going with it or not. So that's on hold for right now, but I haven't forgotten about it and I'm just mulling it around in my brain. But anyway, this one, let me just get a count on stripes so you guys can keep track of my progress on this one. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 full stripes. 10 full stripes. So this is another one that I want to keep tabs on me. Like, check with me every once in a while. See how I'm doing. Like, if I don't bring it up, let me know that you're thinking about it. Because I do want to make this one a pattern. Even though you can find the chevron stitch in other places, I would still like to do the pattern just because I want to post something that has to do with this color order and color pattern, because it is a project that's near and dear to my heart because of it being from my grandparents. All right, I have one more thing that I need you guys to keep me accountable for. That is a WIP. No, it's not a WIP. It is a completed object. Almost. Let me go grab it because I left it in the other room. I'll be right back. Okay, you guys remember this blanket? So I've had a lot of different episodes that I have talked about this blanket. So this is my scrap granny blanket. So all of these squares are scraps and they are joined as you go. So the last row is a join as you go. So you work the whole square and then you join on the sides that match the other sides. I have a tutorial for this one for the scrap blanket. And I also have another video about weaving in your ends for this one to encourage you to weave in your ends, and that it's not that bad, and that it's okay to not care for it, but to give you some encouragement to do it, to set a timer and work for like 15 minutes on it to see if you can, just push through and all that. So I have a confession, and I have not done all my ends yet. So another thing that I needed to need to be held accountable for is to actually do what I was sharing with you guys and set that 15-minute timer, do some of my ends, get them out of the way, and, go for it. So I think what I am going to implement and try to hold myself accountable to, and if you want to use this as well, and let me know in the comments that you want to jump on this little journey with me of trying to complete UFOs or WIPs that are hanging over your head or something like that, that we can try and stick to 15 minutes a day for the projects that we really don't want to finish or don't want to work on, but we want finished. So there are going to be items like this that was good at first, ended up terrible. You don't want to think about it. You don't want to look at it. You don't want to deal with it anymore. It has been a thorn in your side for a long time, and encourage you to allow those things to leave your life if they are that much of a struggle. And so I want to either encourage you to do that, either gift it to somebody, give it to a thrift store so somebody else can be blessed by it, or try to work on it, or find something creative that they can do with it and, move on physically, emotionally, and let it go. Then there's items that you want, either for sentimental reasons or just because you absolutely love it and you want to have a finished item, or things like weaving in ends, things that you just don't want to do. My family has been using this blanket. Like, it is a favorite blanket, and it's all got all these lovely, just tickling everybody as they're using it. But I want this to be a completely finished item. So I am going to commit to doing my 15 minutes a day on the 3 different items that I am not crazy about doing, that I really don't want to actually work on, but I do want to be completed. So the time and energy and effort that I was putting into that thing over there that is frustrating me, and just thought, but it's so close to being good and I just need to do a little bit more. It is just a mental drain. So that is going away. And these 3 items are going to get my attention for 15 minutes a day each. 15, 15, 15. And if you don't have that amount of time to work on these extra items along with what you are currently working on and the items that you're having fun with, then just pick one of them and do 15 minutes a day until this one's complete, and then 15 minutes until this is complete, and then 15 minutes until this is complete. So can you join me on doing something like that? And let me know in the comments what it is that you are going to be working on, an item that has been frustrating to you, either that it's just been a weight on you, like that one that you are excited to move on from, or an item like one of these that you are excited to totally complete and be able to fully use it the way it is intended to be used. So let me know what you are working on and what you're gonna jump into as far as that goes. And also, if you have not already subscribed, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button, and also you can click the bell if you would like notifications. But subscribing would be such a help to me. I would love to reach 10,000 subs by the end of this year. So if you have not subscribed, it is free. It's just a click of that button, and then the notification bell if you want to know when I post new videos. I post 3 times a week, so a Monday chat, a Wednesday WIP thrift and lift, so we are taking random skeins that I have thrifted and adding it to a blanket. And then on Fridays I either do something fun, I do some yarn room stuff, I have some fun tips and tricks, or I do patterns on Fridays, or like vlogs or something like that. So stay tuned for those. And also, if you could give me a thumbs up for this on this video, that would be a huge help as well. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful week and you find joy in the little things.